All right, we're going to do this interview style today. I'm going to interview Corey Beth, and I know all you guys want to hear what I have to ask her, but really, I'm just going to dive into one question that I have for you, which is what do you think was the number one belief you had to break in order to get yourself into, say, your best shape or, where you were happiest with yourself? I'm going to give you a moment to think about that. And as you do, the reason why I wanted to bring this up to everybody is because I feel like all of us are often held back by our beliefs, right? You're the mindset queen, so you know this, right? I'm preaching to the choir. But the thing is that usually what happens is we do have a certain belief that's probably holding us back. And it's something that's like, it's so hard for us to let go of. Like we can't believe that we can't believe that thing, right? Because we must do it in order to be successful. So I want you to right now think about, while Corey Beth is coming up with her answer, which I'm pretty sure she has by now, I want you to think about what are some of your beliefs that you have right now that you think, you don't know for sure, but you think might be holding you back, and go ahead and drop those in the comments below. So I turn the question to you. What was the number one belief that you had to break?
Yeah, I'm just going to be very honest and authentic. Outside of worthiness issues, I'm not enough, I'm not good enough, because we all know that as women, we struggle with a lot of those, and men too. The biggest one for me was I had to do cardio, and not just cardio, hours of cardio. I had to do it every day. I probably had to do it twice a day in order to be in my best shape and actually look like some of the people I saw in magazines, or just, that just looked great on the beach. I'm like, I totally have to do tons of cardio to achieve that.
Did I help you break that belief?
Oh my gosh. What exactly was it? I guess it was like October of 2009. I walked into Pure Physique and was like, oh, wow, they don't do any cardio here. This is awesome. And their workouts are 30 minutes. I was like, I think I could do this. So as a new in my career, young teacher, special education teacher, I was just like, this is perfect. It's great. It's amazing. And I think the most wild thing for me was, I would say by like 2010, I was like, oh my gosh, like my arms have definition. Like I would literally come in, like many of you do, to your trainer, and you're like, look, like I could see a little, like, look, I could see a little. Oh my gosh, like my pants are looser. I went down a dress pant size, it's like all that excitement about it. And I think it was really, it didn't, until it happened to me, I still didn't really believe what they were saying. I literally had to experience it, which I know is true for all of us. And then once I did, I was like, oh my gosh, it literally rocked my world, changed my life. And then fast forward 10 more years and, here we are, more than that now.
And still haven't done any cardio.
Still haven't done any cardio. Those cardio do is when I have to chase a child. That's about it.
Listen, I do think it's amazing that, you could have that long held belief, right? For all those years prior to stepping into Pure Physique. And it's not that, I'm giving Pure Physique itself the credit for all of it. There's others that also believe that, hey, cardio is not necessary. But I think the thing is that that is such a belief that has been perpetuated for decades that it's a hard one for a lot of people to move past, because it's common sense, right? It's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to exercise more and eat less. And, part of that is making sure that you get in your 30 minutes of cardio. And I think that what almost makes it worse in a lot of ways is also, especially when you have, if you want to say, like, I don't want to say the government per se, but like when you have all of these bodies that say, oh, well, you should be doing this for 30 minutes a day, or you should be doing that. And they isolate something like cardio and say, oh, you have to do that.
Sure.
But when you strip away, what are you achieving from the cardio, right? You might be trying to get your heart rate up for a certain amount of time, and yet you could achieve that same result doing resistance training
more,
and just making sure that you work at a high intensity and move quickly between exercises. So like, I get what they're doing. They're trying to get people to do the right things, but
there's some people moving, but we get hooked on one thing. And I never told you this, but before I found Pure Physique, I did Club Fit, I did Planet Fitness, I did New York Sports Club. And then even before that, I had also done Planet Fitness up at college and All Sport. And I literally, you saying this, I'm like, oh my gosh, I totally had a trainer there. And he was like, okay, like go do like 30 minutes of cardio, like before we start lifting, and like, we're going to lift light. And it was just like the biggest, now I'm like, that was the biggest crock of crap, you know? And it's like, how many people did he say that to though? You know, I was just one of many. And so, yeah, I went and like did my elliptical so like I could like warm up my muscles to go and work with him, and like nothing changed. My body looked the same, which is why I then I gym jumped, you know, until I finally found something that worked. So it exists. It's there. It's crazy. But I got to turn the question back on you, interviewer. What is the one belief that you really had to break?
I mean, I've had several, and depending upon what point in my career you're talking about, I mean, in the very beginning of my career, that it was the concept of you only had to work out for 30 minutes, and that you only had to do it 2 or 3 times a week. Like I really did not buy into that, especially coming from that, you know, that bodybuilding influenced background of training in the gym 60 to 90 minutes a day, 5 to 6 days a week. So that was, I would say that was the first one, but I think the biggest one was more recent for us, which was the change in philosophy around nutrition. And, you know, I had believed for so many years, 13 to be exact, that was the number of years that, you know, I was personally competing for. And then you joined me on those last 3 years. But during that time, it was always, we tracked every calorie, we tracked all the macros. I mean, I still to this day have journals, stacks of journals with all of my meals written in and all the specifics. And now to look back and say, wow, like I really thought I had to do that in order to maintain that type of result, and to not do that or anything that resembles that today. Yeah. To me, that was a big belief to shake. And, you know, I'm glad we did, because I was really concerned for when retirement came, and I said, oh, I'm never going to look like that ever again, because I can't possibly keep up with tracking this day in and day out with kids running around and a business to run and, you know, all the things, right? And we all have all the things. But yeah, that belief that it was all about calories in and calories out. And if I didn't track it, then, you know, I would never be able to achieve what I wanted nor maintain it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was the biggest thing with going through bodybuilding and doing that. We still have a food scale inside. We haven't touched since I think 2012. We still have it though. But I'm like, how do you get other clients to do this? Like, how do you get people who are not getting on bodybuilding stage or not going to compete in a competition? How do you get them to do this level of care? Like, I remember going through it being like, what's it going to be like when we stop? Like, am I just going to be fat again and miserable? Like, and it is true. So yes, I am incredibly grateful for the learnings and everything else that we do get to show our clients, that it's totally sustainable, that we are 2 busy working parents, that we do have 2 children, you know, like, it's real now. So, yeah. And it's great. And I think you're in your best shape that I've ever seen you in. So it's so funny. So modest.
Yes. Well, anyway, guys, listen, we want to know, let us know what you think is a belief that you're holding on to right now that you need to break. And remember, you know, we are talking about mindset. So it may be more on this end of the spectrum that Corey Beth was just talking about earlier. As women, right? Many of you women have certain beliefs that you need to break through in order to take that next step. For some of you, it may be more on the technical side related to your nutrition or your exercise regimen. Whatever it is, go ahead and drop it below, because listen, it's going to be really helpful through the rest of this week and maybe next, when we are working on breaking those beliefs for you each and every day that we are here.
Well, we're not going to break your beliefs for you. We are going to show you how to break your beliefs. And I think that's the biggest thing that a lot of people come on here and think is like, oh, Mike and Corbett are going to do it for me. No, we're not. You have to put in the work. We're going to meet you halfway. We're going to show you the proven process, the proven strategy, and the exact step by step you have to take, but you have to be the one to take it. So at the end of the day, the question goes back to you. Do you want to break it? Are you willing to do a little bit of work? And it's not going to be hard forever, but in the beginning, yeah, it's a little bit difficult to change the way you think about things or change the way you do things. But as you start moving, it gets easier and easier and easier. So we're going to show up, because we do show up because we love you and we want you to be successful. The question is, are you going to show up for you?
Good question. Another good one. All right, guys. Well, listen, we will be back tomorrow, and drop those answers below. We'll see you guys later.